Welcome back, and the following lesson is for the math lovers, and it's about numerical functions. The first one, which we're gonna cover, is the ABS, and this function simply returns the absolute value of a number. So when I provide the negative number to it, it will return the absolute value, and the same is for the positive numbers. Very simple. The next one, called power, accepts two parameters. The first number is the base, and the second number is the exponent. So the result of this function, where the first parameter is 4 and the second parameter is 2, it will be 4 up 2. So that means 4 multiplied by 4. And when I execute this, I will get 16. If my exponent is, for example, 3, I will get result as 64, as 4 multiplied by 4, and all multiplied by 4 is 64. Very simple. The third one on this screen is the square root, and simply it returns square root of provided number. Only one parameter, and the square root of 9 should be 3, and when we execute this, it returns 3. Very nice. Following two functions, the CEIL and the floor, returns a full integer for a decimal number. So in our example, we have 12.2. The function should return number 13, as the higher number than 12 that has some decimal after it is 13. So let's execute this. If I omit the decimal, the number will be returned as 12, as this is the same as 12.0, right? The floor returns differently than ceiling, so it will return the lower number of the decimal provided to it, right? So our floor 12.9 should return number 12, right? The round function rounds a number. So when we provide a number to it as a first parameter, the second parameter defines to which decimal it should round up the number. So when I round 12.51 to a precision of 1 decimal, it will round up to a 12.5. As we can see, if our second decimal is 5 or higher, for example 6, it will round up to 12.6, right? The second parameter, if it's put as a negative number, so for example -1, the function looks to the left-hand side of a decimal dot, and it will round to 10. Let's try it out. And we can see it rounded to 10. The second parameter is optional, and if we omit it, it will default to 0. So to round up to a full integer number. So this will round up to number 13. Very nice. The truncate functions works in a similar way, only it strips off the decimal numbers, again on any side of a decimal dot. In our example, we are putting to a precision of 2, so it will strip to 12.51, and it will omit the 5664 in the number. Let's execute this, and we got 12.51, and again, if this is a negative number, it will truncate to the left-hand side of a decimal dot. Let's try that, and we can see it truncated just to 10. If the second parameter is omitted completely, it will default to 0, and it will truncate to a full integer number. As we can see, we got returned 12. The remainder function looks for a difference between a number that we provide and the closest value of multiplied second parameter. So in our remainder function, where we provide first parameter as 12.51 and the second parameter of 5, it will look the difference between 12.51 and 15, as the 15 is the closest number to 12.51, and it will return minus 0.49, right? If we change the decimal number to 0.49, the closest second parameter multiplied is 10, and the upper value is 2.49. So we'll get 2.49. Very nice. If we provide a second parameter higher than the first parameter value, it will just return the difference, so the negative difference of those two numbers. So for example, if I provide 20, 20 multiplied by 1 is higher than 12.49, and we'll get the difference, which is minus 7.51, as this is the higher value. The mod function works in a similar fashion as remainder, only that remainder uses the round function when checking those two numbers, and the mod uses the floor function. So when I execute this, the closest number to 12.51 multiplied by 1 will be 12, and we'll get result as 0.51. Or other example, if I pass in the 5, the closest would be 15, but as we said, it uses the floor function, and the closest will be 10. So again, result will be difference between the provided number and the one that is multiplied by 5, which is in our case the closest one, 10, and the result will be 2.51. Nice. And also, not to forget that we can use in our queries directly addition, subtraction, multiplication, and divisioning. So in our example, we are fetching salary, and salary multiplied by a factor of 1.1. Let's execute this, and we got the correct results. We can see in our second column, the salary is multiplied by 1.1, or we added a 10%. Also, we can use directly addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division in our query, like for example, 1 plus 2, and we got result, 1 minus 2, right? Multiplication, and division, of course. This works just fine. Of course, Oracle provides even more numerical functions than we have covered over here, like sine, logarithmic functions, and more. Don't worry about those. Those are not covered by the exam, but it is good to know that they exist. See you in the next one.